Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
The Princess of Wales. Where's this one's wife's support? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Back in January, the Princess of Wales went to hospital for some abdominal surgery. She didn't need to tell anybody that that's what was going on, but it was seen as prudent to explain that so the public and the press would know that she would be out of action for a period of time, that there would be a degree of transparency even about a personal and private matter such as her health. Quite understandably, no information was given as to why she was having the surgery, what it related to. That was nobody's business but hers. Unsurprisingly, as a consequence of the dim-witted nature of many individuals, there then followed speculation. Where is she? Why hasn't she been seen, despite the fact that you'd already been told why Catherine had not been seen? She went to hospital to have surgery and then was recuperating. But that didn't stop the gossip that comes with idleness, as the keyboard warriors started to pump out their theories, many of which, of course, generating from the Shuggers and the Sussex squad, suggesting that she had been the victim of some form of domestic violence as a consequence of William's temper, and even suggesting that she'd been offed and that she was no longer alive. Indeed, one of the more spectacularly ridiculous theories I aired in a previous video just to enable you to understand the extent to which some people will go. Despite the fact that she'd had major surgery, despite the fact that she was convalescing, despite the fact that she had no obligation to tell anybody what was going on, there then embarked a campaign which can only be described as that of bullying, demanding to know where she was, putting forward suggestions as to what was really going on, and this gained such traction that it meant that the Princess of Wales essentially had to provide a photograph of her in a car with her mother. But that didn't stop the gossipers. They're suggesting that it was somehow a created photograph, that it was something utilising a body double. And thus, Mother's Day came, and again, undoubtedly as a consequence of the pressure that she's feeling to explain herself, when in actual fact she has no such obligation to do so, a private personal photo was released through social media which had been taken by Prince William. This photo, transpires, contained certain editing errors, and as I explained yesterday, it's very simple, and if you have a functioning brain you can work out very clearly what has gone on. It's a composite from a variety of photographs because it's often difficult to get that perfect photograph when you're photographing 3 children in one go, so you take multiple photographs and pull them all together, and the editing of that isn't particularly well done. It hasn't been generated by artificial intelligence, as some have suggested. An expert has actually looked at it and has dismissed the suggestion that it's created by AI. The naked eye tell you it's not been done by AI also, but an expert has confirmed that also. But then the princess has been forced to apologise for putting out an edited photograph when many people recognise that many photographs are indeed edited, that tints are provided on them, that they're sharpened up. This isn't some kind of subterfuge that the Princess of Wales is engaged in. It's not the case of putting herself into a photograph that wasn't actually where she wasn't involved, not at all. And of course, rather interestingly, certain news agencies have issued kill notices in relation to this photograph, whilst they were perfectly content to disseminate a photograph that was issued by the Sussexes, where the photographer that regularly works with them admitted that he had photoshopped in a willow tree behind them. And yet that photograph was disseminated by PA, despite not truly representing what it was. It would appear that the press were engaging in this bullying of the Princess of Wales as if to suggest she ought to tell everybody why she's had an operation, why she's been missing, when of course it's just her own business. Across all of the newspapers, they were leading. It was front page news about an edited photograph. And interestingly, if you look at the reaction of people below the line, it's invariably, what's all the fuss about? Leave her alone. She's recuperating. It was a lovely photograph. There's nothing sinister about it. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. So the press has certainly not gauged the public mood correctly about it. Most people realise there's nothing sinister in relation to the photograph, and that many photographs are edited, and there you are. Most people are horrified by the pressure that's being placed on the Princess of Wales to somehow come clean about what's really going on, when it's none of anybody else's business than that of her and her family. Thus, the Princess of Wales has found herself under pressure, and there are those that are suggesting that it was a horrendous own goal. And of course, we know that there's a certain section of society that supports the Sussexes that is running around gleefully pointing out, edited photo, she's clearly dead, she's been photoshopped into the picture, William has disposed of her, etc., etc. All blatant nonsense. But what is clear is that on social media and also in the press, this is bullying of the Princess of Wales, querying her bona fides, making a mountain out of a molehill, banging on about this photograph when you can clearly see what's happened and there's nothing to get so excited about. Calling it a fiasco, a Photoshop fiasco. Well, naturally the press loves to make a song and dance to try and get those clicks. But this is what it's tantamount to, bullying. Now, who is it who just recently complained about hateful social media? Who was it who just recently complained about being bullied online during her pregnancy? Who is it who just recently talked about the toxicity of social media? Not only did she talk about it, she has ensured that these aspects have appeared in the press on repeated days since then. So clearly, this one's wife identifies with being on the receiving end of unpleasantness in the media and social media. She made it part of her victimhood again last Friday when she appeared in Austin, and she's ensured through PR puff pieces and press releases that it has remained something spoken about in the press and reported about thereon. Thus, given that she apparently has experienced this and also is keen to call out such behaviour, where is she in relation to her sister-in-law? Why isn't she come riding in, stating, this is just another example of the toxicity of social media, with unpleasant and unnecessary speculation about my sister-in-law's whereabouts. My sister-in-law is being bullied online, just like I was during my pregnancy. This is hateful social media, intruding on her privacy, which is unnecessary. But what do we get? We get silence. And this is not a surprise to any of you listening, but it is another situation whereby, once again, the hypocrisy of this one's wife is thrown into sharp relief, that she bleats on about her own mistreatment at the hands of the media and social media, yet when she sees it happening to somebody else, somebody that she is related to by marriage, she says absolutely nothing. Now, we know why that is. We know it's because the Princess of Wales is her nemesis. But if you had emotional empathy, notwithstanding the fact that you may have fallen out with somebody, and of course if you had emotional empathy there wouldn't have been the falling out in the first place, but let's just assume that there has been a falling out, perhaps over a misunderstanding, your emotional empathy would compel you to speak out on behalf of your sister-in-law. It would compel you to speak up, to defend her, and to denounce her detractors. But we all know that this one's wife hasn't done so, because she has no emotional empathy, because she has no genuine compassion or genuine care for her sister-in-law. And thus an opportunity for her, her narcissism refuses to take, even if it was transparent. The fact is, she doesn't see that it's even worth the appearance of caring. Such is her disdain for her sister-in-law. Instead, she'll be revelling in the discomfort that Catherine may well be experiencing as a consequence of this. There's no solidarity, there's no care, there's no compassion, because this one's wife has no emotional empathy. Even her misfiring cognitive empathy hasn't led her to be supportive. And once again, we have another opportunity to witness the hypocrisy and the absence of emotional empathy of this one's wife. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.